What's up, everybody? This is the PlayStation Lifestyle Underground Podcast. We are an unofficial podcast of PlayStationLifestyle.net. I am Hugo Stiglitz. You can find me on PSN as Hugo Stiglitz _420 and Xbox Live as THNK4URSELF. And yeah, I'm with two other guys today. You guys want to say what's up?
Sure. I'm Jordash. You can find me on PSN, Jordash7K, and the same name everywhere else on the internet.
It's easy. I am Brian Mashallah. You could find me on the comments and forums as Brian Mashallah and on PSN and Nintendo Network and I guess Steam.
Awesome.
As Cloudstripe768. I forgot about Steam because fuck PCs.
Yeah, me too. I didn't mention either. PCs for the peasants. But lately, been playing a few different things. Like, I was playing Resident Evil 5 and still Shadow Warrior, but I actually got the free trial for PlayStation Now, so over the weekend I actually did Killzone 2 all the way through and Killzone 3, and I started playing Killzone Shadowfall, played the single player for a while, and then I got into the multiplayer, played that for like an hour, because I was just, I didn't even plan on doing it, but it's just like, it's so much fun that I got sucked in pretty easily. Vita, haven't been playing a ton of stuff. I don't even want to look at the thing lately because I'm so pissed off that my 64 gigabyte memory card corrupted and I haven't been able to fix it. I'm really fucking pissed off about it because I haven't even I've had that, or maybe a year and a half or something. And apparently they're prone to it. And they cost over $100 for a card that really should cost $20, like the micro SDs. And Sony, you fucking suck. But so it's like I'm stuck with my 16 gigabyte cards that have I don't even know what on. So it's like, I mainly just did like a little bit of PlayStation Now, just because it's the last week that it would work on Vita. But yeah.
How much?
Other than that. Not much.
How much longer?
Sorry. Forza Horizon 3. I've been playing that fucking Hot Wheels expansion thing they had. It's just pretty cool, but that's it for me.
Yeah, you said you have PlayStation Now. How much longer are you going to be subscribed to that?
I already canceled the auto renew. I might renew again for a month because I might want to stream like Resistance 3 or like the Infamous games, but I let it run out.
Yeah, that's what I'll be doing at the end of September, because I played a few RPGs on it, and then I touched it like twice this in 2017, so yeah, I can't wait to let it run out and unsubscribe. Myself this week, I've been playing a few arcadey racing games by Vector Unit. I was playing Beach Buggy Racing, which I love, and I bought the two Riptide GP2 and Riptide Renegade. Yeah. I actually just got the platinum for Riptide GP2 like an hour ago. I enjoyed their little racing games. They take up like no space on your hard drive. There is no loading times. I think they're a lot of fun. Beach Buggy Racing is that's going to be my pride and joy when I finally platinum it, because you got to drive for like 9,000 kilometers. Only 25 hours to go, but I'll get there. And also this week I've been playing, you guys hold your laughs, I've been playing Battleborn with my buddy. I enjoy Battleborn a lot. It's like when it came out, like the frame rate wasn't very good, but then in December, January, I forget exactly when, they had like a big winter update. The game runs super smooth now. It looks really good, and it's still fun to play.
I never necessarily had a problem with Battleborn. I just always felt really bad for it because it came out at just the worst time imaginable.
They made two big mistakes. They made it come out the same time as Overwatch, so it got crushed by the Blizzard hype train. And two, if you look at it, when that first 8 months it was when it came out, the frame rate was a little choppy. Not like it constantly slowed down, but it just didn't look that smooth. If they maybe polished it a little bit more and didn't release it at the exact same time, it wouldn't have got slammed so hard as it did.
Yeah,
it's the best. It's the best $5 game you can buy. Go to Five Below, pick it up, give it a spin if you haven't.
I don't know, I've got some pretty good games for $5.
This is even better.
I don't know.
Well, I assume you're done.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. I have been playing still Final Fantasy XIV and a little bit of 12. Also, Splatoon still. Finally beat Kingdom Hearts 2 from the collection and have been working on Birth by Sleep recently.
Which collection? There's like 80 of them.
There's only 2 on PS4. And
You sure?
have been...
I thought there was like... I thought they've come out like with 4 of them already or something.
Every
time I
on
look in the news, there's a new one coming out.
On PS3, there were 2 collections, the 1.5 and 2.5 remixes that each had 2 games and a movie apiece. And then for PS4, they put both of them together in one large collection, so it's 4 games and 2 movies. So I have both of them, but I've been kind of going in semi-order and am now working on technically like the 4th game to come out, but it's the prequel. It's the Snake Eater of the series. And aside from that, I have been playing some that game, more Fortnite and Agents of Mayhem. And that's it for me.
How is that Agents of Mayhem thing?
It's pretty Saints Row-like in the way that it plays more or less. Goofy, fun humor, good story, good characters. The open world kind of sucks, like has been reported in a couple reviews. But if you ignore all that and focus on the story and the characters, it's a really fun game.
Alright, that's cool. So yeah, our news stories this week. Well, for one, Okami HD is getting a release on PS4, which is definitely cool. It's funny because I was actually wondering about that like a couple days, about Okami HD, because I saw it on my PS3 library, and I was like, man, I'm surprised it's pretty much that's only on PS3, right? Like the HD one. But now they're coming out with it on Xbox One, PS4, and I think, did they say Switch?
Not confirmed for Switch, but I think it might.
I mean, I think they easily could. Like, on PS3, it famously had super sampling. Like, it had a resolution well above 1080p. I don't know if it was 1440p or if it was even higher than that, but it was notable for that. I didn't play much of it though. Like, I played a little bit of it, but it was like one of those games that I know it was a super long game, and I was afraid to get into it just because I didn't have time, and I still haven't. So it's like one of those games I'd always be curious to try at some point. But our next news story, I don't even know if you could call it a news story because it's really that underwhelming, but the PlayStation Update 5.0 features got leaked, and not much. I mean, like the rumor said, 1080p, 60 FPS streaming. Well, although the funny thing is, I read the PlayStation blog where they had it actually announced, and they didn't mention a single thing about YouTube, which is weird. It just said Twitch, and it'd be kind of stupid if it was only had that feature for Twitch and not YouTube, because YouTube clearly supports 1080p 60 streaming. But there were some other parental features, but when that rumor first came out, I think a lot of people were expecting them kind of those just to be some of the features and then to be more after, and there pretty much wasn't. People were still kind of expecting name changes and PlayStation Classics to be added, but no, it was not much. I mean, I don't know if I missed anything. I think there was some other small stuff as far as like the quick menu and notifications on there, but I mean, nothing I really cared about. But it's like I already got the feature that I wanted, luckily, with the external hard drive support, so I don't really care. But I would say it's the most underwhelming update they've done since the PS4's launch, though. To be honest, like.
Yeah, there wasn't much. They added the button they added to the quick menu was leave party. How often do you need to eject from a party like as quick as possible? Not
Well,
often.
that wasn't. There was some other things like as far as like organizing it and some others like group messages stuff, and also like you know how when they did, I think it was maybe the last update, but you know how they changed the notifications from black to white. Well, now you can apparently choose. Which some people were whining about, which to me is just like the most ridiculous thing to whine about. I want my black notifications. I'm gonna leave it at white. Like, I mean, I just don't see how that's a big deal. They're just notifications, but apparently people were asking for that.
Yeah, we're never going to get name changes. I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Apparently they have them in Japan.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard. Yeah, like so if they could do it there, they should be able to do it here. But I don't know.
Shows
like,
what I know.
Pretty sure
like
it's a lot more. It's a lot more
not
complicated
whatever.
than most people think. It would require a pretty fundamental back-end change to the PSN as a whole, since that sort of that feature was never or I assume that feature was never like coded in for in the first place. So they would have to change a lot of back-end things to make it work. And when you do that sort of thing, there's always the risk of just catastrophic fucking up.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, imagine trying to name change people's names and then next thing you know, all their trophy data has been deleted. So, I think I've always assumed that we wouldn't get name changes until they redo PSN as a whole and migrate everything over to it, which I don't know, may not be something that is done mid-console cycle.
Yeah, probably not. Like, I mean, maybe before the next console, but I still don't see it as the biggest deal. Although it would be cool to have. But whatever.
I mean, it depends on if you want to have 420 in your username for forever. It's up to you.
That's why. That's the only reason I want it.
Just tell people you're
care.
born April 20th.
No, I'll just tell them I used to be a huge pothead. I don't care. It's like, I mean, weed's getting legalized everywhere anyway, so it's not like there's any shame in it. It's just like it 420 kind of represents that like you're still smoking weed. I don't like, so, but it's never been a problem. Like there's been a couple times when maybe people assumed I was high when I was playing online or something, but I was like, nah, it's actually been a couple years since I smoked. But
well, that's what I've been telling everybody. Just wake and you go wake and bake. That's what we call you.
It used to be, believe me. But yeah, the other story we were going to mention is No Man's Sky got a huge update. If like it added multiplayer, sort of, well, like you can finally see other players. Also, they pretty drastically improved the graphics, as far as I can tell. Like it looks a lot better. I mean, I'm actually playing it on remote play right now, but it does look better. They added some other features, like as far as some of the building options, and like you can actually change terrain now, which is interesting. Much like some of the other features they added, I don't know how to do it, but it's like you actually gotta try to learn, I guess, that's all. But yeah, pretty good update, I'd say, and it's like they're definitely not stopping improving the thing, and despite its hate, I've always thought it was a really cool game.
Yeah, I'm glad they put so much support into it. They've been a lot of really big updates that they've put into it.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Oh yeah, they added portals too. I forgot about that bit. Which is like, I guess, a big deal. Like it's another way, kind of like black holes. It's a way to travel quickly. Although it's like, I'm wondering if, much like black holes, if it might actually be a step backwards as far as like if you're trying to travel towards the center of the Galaxy and stuff. So, yeah, I'll have to look more into that. But, yeah, definitely some good work they put in, for sure. But, yeah, our topic this week is actually remastered games, which I am definitely a fan of. Like, to me, there's no better excuse to replay a game, and there's typically no better way to play a game than a remaster. Like, and not just collections, but like just, you know, the basic stuff they do as far as like increasing resolution, especially if you're only a console player. I think they're awesome, because if you're comparing PS4 to the PS3 version, like if that's all you had, even if you're getting the most bare bones, half-assed remaster like Dishonored Definitive Edition, where they literally just upped the resolution pretty much, even that is just like such a big improvement over the PS3 version to me. But like, there's also a ton of remasters where they do like huge changes, like Metro Redux or Call of Duty 4. Which, I mean, Call of Duty 4 Remastered is not even a remaster; it's a remake. But also, like, there's that whole thing. So we're including remakes, but I really like them. Sometimes they've been priced, I think, very unfairly, like Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition, both being $60, I thought was kind of ridiculous. But the thing with remasters is they usually go down in price pretty quickly. So, yeah, I like them, and they don't seem to be slowing down at all, really. I mean, we definitely had more of them, and they were more of a focus earlier in this gen, but I think as we get more other games, like, they go a little less noticed, but still are selling. And actually, a news story we almost did this week was that the July NPD came out, and Crash Bandicoot Collection was actually near the top in sales, which is pretty good for that series, as far as, because Activision owns it, but it's the PlayStation series at heart, really. But we might see more of that in the future, I'd say.
So was Mario Kart, actually. Mario Kart 8, a Switch game of a remastered, I don't even know if you want to call it remastered, but a port of a Wii U game was like top 7.
Yeah, that Mario Kart's been selling hot for months also. I didn't realize that Mario Kart 8 was the same one they did however many years ago it came out, and I didn't even realize I don't Nintendo too much anymore, but...
Yeah.
I don't know if that's technically a remaster as much as a port, but still, that just a game from an older console onto a newer console, still, not quite the same as Crash, but Mario Kart is still pretty amazing that it's selling so well.
Yeah.
I think we see a lot of remasters nowadays. Well, first of all, because say if you're going from like PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2, that was such a huge gap that you couldn't just like remaster it. You'd have to remake it from the ground up. Also, in the games that are PlayStation 2 that they're re-releasing, then there's tons of PlayStation 3 games that they're flat out remastering, updating the graphics, making it better. I think those are happening a lot more because it's a lot harder to just make brand new, like big budget AAA games. But it is not too bad to just update the games that you made 8 years ago. Whenever, like, say, the BioShock collection, those 3 games came out on the PlayStation 3, I don't know, 2009? I don't know. I'm just throwing out a number. But it's to sell it to a whole new audience of people that maybe weren't playing video games very much 8 years ago, missed it, and they're just now getting into it. This is their opportunity to actually be able to play those games. Like for me, I do like getting remasters on the PS4 for games that I even have on the PS3, because I'm never dusting off my PS3.
Oh yeah.
Every time I boot that up and there's that terrible slow the XBM menu, I hate it. Every time, then I remember why I never turn it back on. It's so slow. I try to update my trophies and it like crashes half the time. F that. If I can play it on the PS4, I'm doing it. That was one of my favorite things about PS Now too, that I could play half my games on the PS4 that way. And Hugo, you mentioned Metro Redux. Like he said, they completely changed that. I have it on the PS4. How did they change that from the?
Well, it's mainly Metro 2033, but they did a lot of work into the graphics, and because they actually updated it to the Metro Last Light game engine, which improved the lighting a lot, and most of the textures and stuff were the same, but there were some sections, especially the outdoor sections, that they really changed like drastically, and not to mention all the DLC, and like it was 2 games for like only $50 when it's launched, and it's been on sale. Like that was like one of the best remaster packages that you could get this gen.
Yeah.
I've thought, but yeah, like it wasn't a full-on remake, but as far as like remasters go, they did a fantastic job, especially on 2033. But also, Last Light was just such amazing graphically on PC that on PS4 it looked amazing as well. And like plus they were both 1080p 60, which was like it's still kind of a rare thing to see, especially at that high quality graphics. So like yeah, they did a fantastic job on that, and I'm looking forward to Metro Exodus, obviously, but
yeah, I had.
As far as remasters goes,
I had bought the Metro Saints Row like HD package like a year ago, and that's a great package. Saints Row 4 is tons and tons of fun. Then there's like the Get Out of Hell that they gave us on PS Plus. That's basically the same game. So if you wanted more of that, you can get it. So that was a great remaster package that I got. How about you, Brian? How do you feel about these remasters?
I personally really like them. I've been buying them since PS3. It kind of made sense to me that even ignoring the fact that a lot of the PS2 games remastered for PS3 didn't necessarily look a whole lot better, like the Ratchet collection, for example. What mattered most was getting to play the games again, getting to play them on a PS3 and getting trophies for them. At least for me, that was always nice. And they were always really good deals in terms of you could buy one game for $60 or 2 or 3 games for $50 or $40 or something like that. So, there was always that cost that, the financial side of it made a lot of sense to buy, especially if you've never played them before, even though I did like to double dip. Even when it came to playing games on PS4 that I played on PS3, I still do it. I bought The Last of Us Remastered on PS4 because that was an amazing game and I wanted to play it again, and I regret nothing.
Yeah. I mean, and that was $50 when it first came out, too. I was pissed about that because I didn't think it was really fair to try, because, I mean, if you bought remasters on PS3, you'll remember they were like $20 per game. I mean, like the most expensive one was like $40, but that was because it came with 2 or 3. But so I was a little unhappy about that. But it's like Last of Us, one of the best games ever. Wanted to replay it, didn't care. So it's like I bought it anyways, even though I didn't agree with the price. Like that's pretty much what I see as far as remasters. It's like it's the best excuse to replay a game. It's also the best version of the game almost every time, typically, especially as far as console. Like if you're a console-only player, it's pretty much always the best version of the game, unless like it's literally the worst remaster ever, which is the prototype remasters, which somehow managed to have a worse frame rate than the original. Although they did have double the resolution at 1080p instead of 720, so I mean, yeah, you do kind of trade something there, but those are like the worst you'll ever get as far as remasters go. But generally, the rule is that if you're a console-only player, the remaster's always going to be the best version of play. Well, actually, I forgot also about the Silent Hill collection. Supposedly that one's really bad, too. But, I really enjoy them, and I really want to see more. Also, I would like to see some more remakes. Like, not a ton, because, like, those do take a lot more resources and stuff. But, like the Crash Bandicoot one, that was very good, except for I thought that they were going to make the frame rate 60, because the early trailer they showed was 60 frames per second. And plus, it's a very difficult platforming game. So I thought that was a huge missed opportunity, which is why I'm waiting. But still, visually, they did awesome. The Call of Duty 4 I mentioned, awesome job. And then, of course, Shadow of the Colossus, to me, from what we saw, that I think that's the best remake that I've ever seen, like graphically, and I just cannot wait to play it. Plus, they're going to modernize it a little bit, so it's like I was more excited about that than any of the new games that I saw at E3, partly because some of the other ones weren't a surprise, like Wolfenstein and stuff, but like that one was a surprise, so it's like that was the highlight of E3, and it's a game I've played 4 times already.
Yep. For me, so a few of the remasters are some of the few games that I've gone out of my way to purchase, like day one, because those are the only games I can count on that I know I'm gonna love. Cause I played them before and I loved them 10 years ago or whenever they came out. Those include the Final Fantasy X and X-2 collection. Got that immediately. No regrets. Like those games are incredible. Nope. I got the Final Fantasy 12 day one. Just a month ago. Played through that for weeks. I just plowed through that. It was great. The Kingdom Hearts collection, so many games. I think that came out just by my birthday. And so I knew that was how I was going to spend my April, with all those great Kingdom Hearts games. I think I'd also bought the Devil May Cry. This isn't a day one thing. I know I'd bought the Devil May Cry collection on PS3. I enjoyed playing that. A bunch of the Resident Evils, 4, 5, and 6 for the PS4. God, I haven't played them yet. Just add them to the backlog. It's so hard to turn down they're remastered, because you know what they are. You know they're good. It's hard to stay away from them.
And they fill nice gaps in between some of the bigger releases. I know that's less of a problem these days, because it just seems like there's a new big great game around the corner constantly, but even in the beginning of the PS4 era, when games were a little more sparse, they filled, they were relatively quick and easy to make, and they filled a gap in between some of the bigger releases on PS3 and 360. They definitely did that. Those games, they were, except for the year of the PlayStation, when the 17 exclusives came out in one year, for the most part, main releases were spaced out a little more infrequently than they have been in recent years. So they definitely filled those voids, and they were definitely a great bang for the buck when you had, excluding stuff like The Last of Us, when you had multiple games in a collection. I mean, the value is just usually great. I don't think there's a better valued game than the current Kingdom Hearts collection on PS4 right now, given the fact that it has 1 and 2 in all their remastered glory, plus Birth by Sleep.
Not mentioning Chain of Memories.
We don't speak that name around here.
Speaking of filling the gaps, or rather how this year, it feels like there's big releases coming out every single week in 2017. We had Agents of Mayhem, that's a big one. Last week there was like Hellblade and Lawbreakers, those were big deals. This week we got Uncharted coming out. 2017 has had a lot going on with the AAA games.
If you're ignoring the entire beginning of it, when we had Horizon followed by Zelda followed by
Nier Automata came out at the start of the year.
Nier and Horizon. Nier came out just after Zelda.
Neo
came out just before Horizon, and then Persona came out shortly after Nier.
You just listed in my mind, I heard 20 games, so that's like one a week. That's how I heard it.
It was. There were about 8 games that came out before or by April 4th that were pretty good, or in Zelda's case, the game of the year.
Well, if we are going to say it's almost a week, 8 games in 3 months, that's almost a game a week.
Yeah. And some of these games are big, lengthy games. Persona's a huge JRPG. Nier is a pretty damn big JRPG. Zelda is a gigantic open world Zelda. Horizon, of the ones I mentioned, might be the shortest. And that is still a huge open world RPG-ish
Really?
game.
What? That shit took me 70 hours. What the fuck?
I platinumed it in about 35, 40. I'm far beyond that in all those other games without the platinum, so that's what I'm basing that off of. Yep.
Man. Oh, so much for playing Nier. Like, I can't fucking handle that. That's too long.
I thought Nier wasn't going to be that long.
Was
No,
the first one that long? Like, shit.
depends. It
They
had
gotta stop making these long games. I know some people like them, but fuck, I don't got
I
time.
like 20 hours is a really good pace for me. Like, that's how I know I'm getting like a really good full game. After that, I'm like, this is becoming work.
Yeah, like for an open world game, I'd say 20 to
Yeah.
30 is good. Like, or like, I don't know, it really depends, but like, yeah, no, so stuff that goes way beyond that, like especially stuff like Fallout, which I really like, but it's like when you kind of have to spend like 70 hours just to get to the point I'm in, like, in that game, it's like, it's too much work, and like, that's why it's like I haven't even bought myself a copy of The Witcher 3 yet, because I know that one's too long. It's like I gotta finish Fallout 4 first. Yeah, no, it's just too much. Like, man, it's like in Zelda Breath of the Wild, I want to get, but like that. But like the thing is that will be portable, so I will probably just play that instead of Vita for months, and it'll be fine. Like, so that's different. It's just like when I'm at home, I tend not to like to play games that are super long because I just get I get sucked into them and do nothing but that, or I just like want to switch to something else. It's like, man.
Yeah, like I can play the same game for, I'm going to use Final Fantasy 12 for my example, for 2 weeks, and I play that hard for 2 weeks. And after that, I'm like, I got to switch it up. I can't go anymore. Last year, I played through both Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2, which are,
Wow.
yeah, I played them like back to
Yep.
back, and I think that took me about 170 hours, most of September and most of
Yep.
October. And
Sounds about right.
I know I still enjoy both games, but I know I would have enjoyed the second much more if I had like broken it up, because I basically played the same game for 2 months, 170 hours. Yeah, great games, but yeah, I know I could have enjoyed it more if I'd broken it up or, I don't know, paced myself somehow and didn't just dive in for 2 months. Yeah.
That's kind of how I played Zelda. I had the, I don't know if you'd call it the luxury or the misfortune of having Horizons, Zelda, and then Nier all within about 10 days of one another. So I played a lot of Horizon and Zelda at the same time. And then once I beat Horizon and platinumed it, then I moved on to Nier and focused more on that while still playing Zelda. And then next thing I knew, I had 90 hours in Zelda.
That's kind of like what I try to do now. I'll try to like rotate off through games just to break it up.
Yep. I have to do that, or else I will definitely get bored of playing the same game over and over again, which, unless it's a very, very good game with excellent stories, like the Uncharted collection that came out not too long ago. Getting back on topic. When I think collections, that is one of the best to come out in... It's one of the best to come out, period, I think. Just because all games are just amazing games to begin with. But then what they did was they took the control scheme in Uncharted 3 and updated all the games to match it. So instead of having slightly different control schemes in Uncharted 1 and then 2 and then 3, you basically played, just a continuation of the same game over and over again. And they changed up, some mechanics like the fighting and guns and some of the cover systems and stuff, obviously, but, they didn't change the way, shoot was a different button, throw grenade was a different button, stuff like that. And, the games just ran so fantastically. That is one of the, the high bars in collections, I think, just in terms of quality and value, too, because they're 3 excellent games. I mean, Uncharted 2 and 3 are among the best of last gen, so
Yep.
you can't really complain about that.
The Uncharted collection, when I got it, it came with my PlayStation. How much did that cost if it wasn't bundled?
60.
Yeah.
It was
When it
60
first
brand
came
new,
out,
yeah.
yeah.
Still worth every penny. That's $20 a game.
I got the original 3 Uncharted's. GameStop was having it was like a 4 for $10 sale, and each of those $250, and that was back in like 2000, I don't know, 13. So I was like, this is a pretty good deal for some of the best games on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Bargain.
It's one of the, like we were talking about through PlayStation Messengers earlier, one of the bigger gripes I have about the Kingdom Hearts collection, where the control scheme is pretty similar between Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, and then they change things up substantially for Birth by Sleep, and it's just been throwing me off a little bit. And on one hand, I realized that they probably could have, but chose not to, because it would have made the game a little more complicated in terms of activating your command deck skills. Basically attacking if you were trying to open a chest. But that was never a problem with it before. It's a weird change. I don't know, or it was a weird lack of a change. I don't know why they didn't update it a little bit just to make it a little more convenient, especially knowing that people will most likely play these games in fairly quick succession.
Yeah, because you're right. The treasure chest open button is different in just about every game. Like I know 1 and 2, while their combat systems are the same, like one of them is X, one of them is triangle. And then for Birth by Sleep, Birth by Sleep is kind of similar to in the Kingdom Hearts 2.8 collection. What's Dream Drop Distance? They have very similar. They're basically identical control schemes with the command decks and opening chests.
Hmm.
You said you're playing in order. Have you gotten to 2.8 yet?
No, I do have it though. I just beat 2. I'm working on Birth by Sleep and simultaneously watching the movie Recoded just to get that story. And then once I'm done with Birth by Sleep, I will move on to Dream Drop Distance, which I played a little bit on 3DS. By the way, in case you never figured it out, it's 3Ds in Dream Drop Distance. Clever, I know. I really don't remember. I don't remember it or Birth by Sleep very well. So those are the ones I'm most anxious to play, except for whatever crazy shit they called the Aqua chapter.
I've heard a lot of people that are like big Kingdom Hearts guys, they did not like Fragmentary Passage. I don't remember why they didn't like it, but they said they didn't like it.
We'll see. I like Aqua the best of the 3 Birth by Sleep characters anyway, so maybe that'll help me push through.
What remakes or remastered would you guys like to see?
God, they do so many, it's hard to even ask for one they haven't done.
Me and Hugo have one that we both pretty desperately want, I think. Rhymes with resistance.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. I wasn't even... at first I thought you were going to say Metal Gear Solid 1, but yeah, no, absolutely Resistance in that. And like they were, there was rumors about Resistance 4 for E3 this year, which obviously didn't happen, but I was saying because there was another rumor that Bluepoint was working on something for Sony that was like a very beloved franchise. I was like, man, please be Resistance Trilogy Remastered and Resistance 4 coming out like next year or something. ended up being true, but I mean, I guess I'll settle for Shadow of the Colossus remake, which actually, I mean, to be honest, is kind of better. But yeah, no, would love Resistance because I mean that is such a good game that I think like there's so many Xbox gamers that didn't play it that are now on PS4, and it's like who wouldn't want to play those again because they're so much fun to play. Like if you pick it up on PS3 now, it's like yeah, it looks like a PS3 game, but like you're gonna have a blast playing it, guaranteed. Because they're just such good games. But I like, as far as remake, Metal Gear Solid 1. And I don't want much, like, I don't want that nonsense that Kojima was talking about, turn it into open world. Fuck that. All I want is just, like, redone textures, modern, like, lighting and graphics and stuff, better models, but everything else the exact same. Same controls, same camera angles, no first person shit. I don't need that added in. Like, as far as, like, you know how they did it with Twin Snakes? I don't even want that. Like, I'd rather it just be the exact same. Because it's like, I didn't like Metal Gear Solid 2's gameplay more than 1. So I would rather, I don't think that was an improvement in Twin Snakes. It was graphically, but yeah, like I just want it the same, just updated. And it sucks because somebody was actually working on doing exactly what I'm asking for. Well, maybe not exactly, but at least like better textures and stuff and like all that. And Konami shut it down, of course, because Konami is Konami, and they suck.
Now they did have on the PS3. They had the Metal Gear Solid like the Legacy Collection, which had all the Metal Gears.
That's actually what I have. But yeah, it was just like a code for Metal Gear Solid 1 actually, like for the PS1 Classic.
Yeah, I bought the Metal Gear, the other collection, the one that had 2, 3, and Peace Walker before I knew the other one existed.
HD collection.
The HD collection.
Yeah.
Well, the HD collection came first, and then Konami, being Konami, decided to release another collection of games that included a PS1 download code. And it came with Metal Gear Solid 4 as well?
Yes, it did. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
Legacy Collection, yeah. HD and 4 and 1.
Yep. It sounds like a great deal, but I had got all those games day one anyways. HD Collection, Metal Gear Solid on PS1 when it was made available as a classic, and of course, I basically bought my PS4 to play I bought it long before Metal Gear Solid 4 came out, but Metal Gear Solid 4, knowing it was coming, was one of the main reasons I got a PS3 early at the ridiculous price point.
Oof.
It did come with a cool art book, though.
I think so. Wait, the HD or the Legacy
Collection?
Collection?
Legacy Collection.
Whatever I had came with some interesting manual as well. It's been so long I can't remember.
I didn't do a steelbook with it, but I actually have it in my hands. But yeah, it's pretty cool art book, like a bunch of stuff in it. Like old materials and stuff.
They did do a limited edition Metal Gear Solid 4, which I regretted. I've always regretted not getting it. Then again, I was also a poor college student, so it's hard enough.
On the front cover, 92 plus average Metacritic. It's kind of funny, but I mean, it makes sense. The series is like all stellar, but I don't think they had Metacritic back when Metal Gear 1 and 2 came out.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
And those two games, like, you wouldn't know it unless you actually look, but it's actually on the menu of like the special menu of Metal Gear Solid 3 on the HD collection. It's like, because it doesn't say anywhere else, as far as I know, where you would actually find those two games, but yeah, it's inside Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah, a collection that I would like to have is, I know I'm in the minority that still holds on, but I still like Sonic, and I like to get some of the old Sonic games on my PlayStation 4. There's a couple good 3D ones, and some of the old 2D ones are good.
It could happen. I mean, didn't they put I know Sonic 2 is on PS3.
Yeah, they have a lot of them like individually, like the same things, or the like just ports of the old things. But those are on PS3. I don't think they're on the PS4.
I'm honestly surprised that they haven't done a massive Sonic collection of the good games.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, the adventure games.
Sonic Generations, I think that came out 2011. That was a good one too. The new Sonic one that's coming out in a few months is supposed to be a lot like Generations, which has like some 2D levels and then the other half are 3D levels. It's a good split, and Generations was really good.
I just think I think maybe the hesitation is there were so many bad Sonic.
So there are too many. There are more bad than good.
It would be a kind of a weird collection because would you just cherry pick the good ones and completely ignore the bad ones? I mean, you would have to, but it would be kind of like, hey, you want a collection of games? Here are the good ones. Don't forget, or, pretend that these other ones don't exist, though.
Yeah. Like, I think one of the articles was Sonic Mania is the best rated one since Sonic Adventure 2, which I think came out on the Dreamcast, and then they put it out on the other systems after that. I didn't even love Sonic Adventure 2. Because you play some levels as Tails, and you're in like a mecha suit, and that's kind of weird. I didn't really like the Knuckles flying levels. I didn't really like those. There was a nice little like animal raising part. You raised a little like Chow, little bunny looking thing, and they were cute, and everybody loved those. Everyone always says bring back the Chows, but I don't think that'll ever happen.
Well, they don't have the little Tamagotchi like memory cards anymore.
No.
That was half the fun in raising your Chows.
You had the Pocket Station?
No, the old Dreamcast, I did not have a Pocket Station, even though there was a feature for Final Fantasy VIII and raising chocobos with the Pocket Station.
Did the Pocket Station even have any other features besides raising that little chocobo with Final Fantasy VIII?
I'm really not sure. I don't even know if the US ever saw a release of it.
Probably not.
It's kind of a shame though that we didn't get. Sega would make just a ton of money, I bet, by releasing a VMU copycat of Chow Raising.
They probably would.
They brought back Tamagotchis. Why shouldn't they bring back Dreamcast memory card Chow Raising?
Yeah, I want Sonic. Yeah.
How's that for a remake?
I just want Sonics on the PS4, not the PS3.
They might. I think that due to how well Sonic Mania is doing, apparently, if it sells well, then they'll be more inclined to maybe put out and test more waters with Sonic.
I'm sure you're right.
They've been trying to figure out what exactly people want when it comes to Sonic, and they don't really understand that people just want old Sonic, I guess. Those were some of the better ones, and I have a fondness in my heart for the Sonic Adventure games, but that's kind of when it started slipping once it went to 3D, and then after that it was just a shit show.
Yeah, because there are people that like the 2D, and there are people that also like the 3D. And that's why Sonic Generations and the one that's coming out in a few months, they're half and half, so hopefully they'll be able to please some people with that.
Half the people. But that would be an interesting collection. Again, I don't know how many they would include in the collection. Just the 2D and 3D. They can't do all 3D because most of 3D are terrible.
Yeah.
What I kind of want to see is not quite a remake or a remaster, but the way that they did Final Fantasy VII for PS4 currently, I would love to get a Final Fantasy IX out of that and some other PS1 type games.
Me too.
Because there are a number of PS1 classic RPGs that would really benefit from a speed-up mode.
Oh, yeah, like a Chrono Cross, for example.
That would be amazing. And with trophies. And I mean, that's the type of game that you can replay. I mean, to get all 100 and
Yeah, all the characters. Yeah,
However many
there's a
characters.
ton. Yeah, there are tons of RPGs that would be great instead of just being PS1 classics on the PS3 that no one wants to turn on. Just port them over to the 4.
I would buy a Final Fantasy IX in a heartbeat.
Same.
The one collection I want most when it comes to PS2 games that we will never see is probably the Suikoden games.
Yeah, I've heard those. I never played those, but I've heard those ones are just incredible PS1 RPGs.
The PS1 games are really, really good. The PS2 games are also very, very good. I was not the biggest fan of 4, but 3 and especially 5 is one of my favorite games on PS2 period. It was so good. But those are Konami games, so
Yeah.
that's never gonna happen.
Fuck Konami. You know what would be cool, though, is if they did a remake of Final Fantasy VII.
I don't know, man. They've been teasing that for like 12 years. It'll never happen.
Yeah, it seems like it. It's like the biggest deal ever at E3. What was it, 1915? Like, it seems like 100 years ago, but yeah, they still seem like they're 5 years away.
Yeah, it's going
practically.
to be a PS5 game.
Yeah,
That'll
it's
be a
kind of
nice
silly because
collection.
they showed it again like 6 months later.
I know.
It's like, man, they just love to tease people. It's like, oh yeah, we're already showing it at PSX. Like, we're actually making progress. Yeah, no, they're not. They haven't even really started it, right?
They have a
Like,
few like screenshots. Like they have like the first little like intro level pictures done. Yeah, it doesn't.
Well, it's episodic, so all they need to do is make Midgard and get people to shut up and spend another 7 years making the rest of Disc
Yep.
1.
I could talk about RPGs I wanted ported over the PS4 all day. I can't wait till I decide I have time to play through the PS2 Star Ocean. That was a great RPG. I liked the Xenosagas. I know not many people did, but if they ported those over, I'd buy them too.
I'm a little surprised that they haven't. Then again, Xeno has kind of been a Wii and Nintendo thing for a couple of years now.
I remember like a few years ago for Xenosaga, like they tried to get like a little petition, like make HD versions, and like only a couple thousand people signed, and the president of Namco was like, that's not enough. So I don't think they're ever going to get made.
If anything, I don't even know if they would end up on PS4, since Monolith Soft has been in bed with Nintendo.
Yeah.
It could be a great Switch collection. Speaking of Switch collections, I would love both of the HD Zelda games that came out on Wii U ported over to Switch in a little collection. Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
much more than that, I would like the remaster they did of Ocarina of Time, which they're somehow limiting to 3DS.
And I still don't think they're going to change that. They have no reason to.
Yeah, forcing people to buy their 3DS. Not that it's a bad handheld system, it's a great handheld system. But
Which one? The 3DS, the 2DS, the new 3DS, or the new 2DS?
I have an original, or I guess it's an original 2DS, and it just collects dust. I don't play Pokemon anymore. So
The old cheese wedge? Yeah, I've been playing a number of 3DS games. If it's not Switch, it's 3DS. My Vita has been in a drawer crying for the better part of a year now. But that's in no small part thanks to Dragon Quest 7 and then 8 coming out. Which are both really excellent
those
remakes.
are coming out on the 3DS?
Well, those already did come out on the 3DS. And With 8, not so much, because it was, it looks about the same as it did on PS2, but with Dragon Quest 7, I don't know if you ever played that on PS1, but it was still SNES era-like sprites, completely redone in 3D on 3DS. That is an excellent remake.
Did you play the Final Fantasy IV 3D remake? I've heard that's very good.
Yes. A long time ago on the original DS. It was tough.
Tough as in a difficult game, or tough because it was... Okay.
Difficult. They kept the difficulty intact from the original Super Nintendo Japanese version, I believe.
Okay. All right, then.
Yeah. If you're going to play a quote-unquote remastered version of Final Fantasy IV, go with the Vita Complete Collection, if applicable.
And one more RPG question. Have you played both of the Bravely Default and the Bravely Seconds?
I played Bravely Default. I have not played Bravely Second, because I could never finish Bravely Default, because it was just so long. And a little repetitive. But very enjoyable from what I did play before I got bored.
Good. Brian, also, I think I saw that you had bought Undertale. I think I saw you playing that for a minute the other day.
I did play it for about a minute the other day, yes. I wanted to see... It's been on my wish list on PC for a long time, but that would require me to play a PC game, which I'm not willing to do, so... I wanted to support the game because I've heard really good things, and who doesn't love more sprite 2D RPGs like that? It's a rhetorical question. Not many people out there like them. But...
I had to take a breath.
A remaster I actually would like to see is Crysis. Huge fan of especially the first game, but would also be cool. All three. I think it would be a way for Crytek to make a little bit of extra money since they're obviously hurting financially. And the games would look spectacular on PS4 as well. On PC, they're pretty much, especially Crysis 3, they're pretty much the best looking game on PC still to this day for the most part. And so it's it would look up to par with today's standards, and they wouldn't all they have to do is port, not really do a ton of remake work or anything like that. Even Crysis Warhead, which never got put on any consoles, which was a very cool addition, side story to Crysis 1. But yeah, it's something I definitely want to see, even just for Crysis 1 alone, because the gameplay-wise, some of the controls, too, on the original PC version is kind of terrible. There's some things that are a little wacky. I played the PS3 version first, which had the more modern control scheme that they had in Crysis 2 and 3. So when I go to play the PC version, yes, it's great because the graphics are a million times better, but then it's bad because, the gameplay just isn't nearly as good, or well-polished as it is on PS3. So it's that would be, yeah, that's one of the only other things I could think of as far as what I want remade. I'm sure I could think of others, but there's nothing that jumps out, like we said earlier, there's so much stuff that's getting, remastered or remade and stuff, and, yeah, nothing that I think totally needs to be, I'm sure I'll probably think of something later, but as of right now, I'm running out of ideas. So I don't know. You guys have any other games you can think of?
Remastery, not so much.
Yeah, it's tough. They keep doing everything these days.
I think we talked about quite a lot of games too.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
There is one that I would love to see. I don't think it'll ever happen for just a myriad of reasons, but some of my favorite games of all time period are the Game Boy Color Zelda games, Link's Awakening, Oracle of Ages, and Oracle of Seasons. And I feel like today so few people have played them that if they were to remake them in maybe a link between worlds type of flavor that they would just sell amazingly well. Because they are excellent games. Old, classic type Zelda, Zelda 1, Zelda Link to the Past type of games just on Game Boy. So very bare bones, but some of the best dungeons in the series, I think. And very
I'm sure
enjoyable.
if they remastered anything and slapped Zelda on it, they'd sell a couple million copies of it.
Because, on Switch they're doing a collection of SNES Mana games for no real reason, so why not do Zelda Game Boy games in a more modern aesthetic, especially ones that were, I think, criminally underrated. They sold pretty well, but just so few people know about them today that they deserve more love. Anything Game Boy Color, though, really deserves more love. There's so many great games on that system that are just lost to the ages because people don't remember. Or they're too young now.
Yeah, because Game Boy Color is pretty old school. But that is actually the only Game Boy I ever really had. Or actually, no, it's the only Nintendo handheld I ever had. And I only had one game on it, Tetris Color. But one thing I forgot to mention as far as the Resistance remake or remaster, I would love to see Resistance Retribution, the PSP game, be included on that, which would probably never happen, but as far as handheld games being remastered, that would be the one. And you kind of reminded me of that, bringing up Game Boy stuff, but that was just such a fantastic game, and I think it had better characters than the rest of the Resistance series by a mile, pretty much. They put a lot into making an actual cool character, and it had the main character was voiced by the same guy who did Kazuhira Miller in Metal Gear Solid. The famous "they played us like a damn fiddle" guy. But yeah, no, that I really love that game. So that I would love to see. It probably would never happen, but that's the only handheld game I could really think of, other than GT PSP was also one of my favorites, but that would be another one that would be pointless to remake, pretty much.
They put a lot of them on PS2.
Oh no.
The Liberty City and Vice City stories.
Oh yeah, they did.
They remade. They did them as PS2 games. Yeah.
The GTA. Yeah.
Oh,
I said
Turismo.
GT PSP Gran Turismo. Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, that was cool because I actually thought Vice City Stories was really good and stuff, but yeah, it's kind of funny how there's a lot of PSP games, but I don't know, there's not a whole lot that I think necessarily really need to be remastered because most of them already have. The ones that really deserved it did, other than Resistance Retribution. That's the only one that they didn't do that I can think of. But I don't know. What else we got? You guys have any other ideas?
Uncharted Lost Legacy comes out really soon. I forget whatever day Tuesday is.
The day after Monday.
22nd. Yeah, I don't know. You guys getting that?
I won't get it right away. I don't even have Uncharted 4 yet.
What? You gotta get that.
It's on the list. Because I had played all three Uncharted games. I think I played all three of them last winter through the HD collection. And so I said, I'll take a little break before I get 4. Is that enough? Uncharted?
It's funny. I played
Never
them
enough.
specifically just before Uncharted 4 came out
Me too, actually.
to get myself all psyched up before they
Me too.
delayed
Platinums.
it. I mean,
Went for the Platinums before it came out, yeah.
I didn't go.
yep.
And I think Steven did the same thing too. Like all us three all did. Like we played it when the collection first came out, but then we played it again to get the platinums and to get psyched up for 4. So yeah, there's never enough Uncharted. Like those games are so good. It's like although I've played them so many times at this point, I'm gonna wait like a while before I play them again because it's just like I've killed myself on those. They're just too fun. It's too easy. I mean, I guess the cool thing about Lost Legacy is just have the multiplayer and stuff, which I didn't realize was happening till like a week ago. But yeah, no, you gotta get 4 before Lost Legacy. I would say so. It's probably cheaper, anyways.
Yeah, it goes on sale every now and then.
But yeah, everything does go on sale eventually.
I'm just too impatient to wait.
Yeah.
I
am
have
sometimes.
Longest
Like, I
Legacy
try to, but
pre-ordered.
then like I get suckered into stuff, and yeah, it's tough. It's tough being impatient.
It can be tough.
It's cheaper to be patient.
Oh yeah.
That I can't argue with.
I mean, that's what was great about for me last generation is I didn't get a PS3 till 2010, so it's like everything was cheap.
Yeah, I don't think I got mine till 10 or 11 also. Yeah, so then
no
I'd
shit.
start looking on like the online sale and I was like, "Oh my god, every game is $5." And then I bought all of them.
But then PS4 I got on day one because I was just like so pumped for it. So it's like, yeah, I've been buying a lot of games day one. I probably bought more games day one in 2015 alone than I did the entire time I had a PS3. But, alright, I think we covered the topic. What do you guys
I
think?
think we talked about remasters a lot.
Probably
Sure
not
did.
enough, but I can't remember anything else.
Well,
now.
I mean, we would have had a lot more to talk about if they hadn't remade everything already by now. But yeah, that was definitely a good one. But thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.